What is up, everybody? I am Jeff with TWOMOOSE Design, and in today's video, we are going to compare and contrast the Onefinity Woodworker versus the 1000mm x-carve to hopefully make your decision on which one you're going to purchase a little bit easier. Alright, full disclaimer, Onefinity did send me this machine free of charge. I did not pay for it. I was one of the lucky few that got to beta test the machine, and kind of part of the deal was I beta test the machine, give them feedback, and in return I will get a production model machine when that machine came out. The machine came out, I now have the production model machine set up, so we're going to put that up against our x-carve. I've had this x-carve for probably 3-4 years now. I haven't had a ton of troubles with it like other people. It's treated us well. I've made tens of thousands of dollars with that machine over the past 3 years or whatever. It's really brought our business to the next level, owning a machine in the shop. I'm going to keep this video as neutral as possible. I'm not going to tell you which machine to buy or not buy, simply show you all the facts, the pros and the cons of each machine, and hopefully make your decision a little bit easier. I'm also going to compose this video in chapter format, so you can go over to the side or down in the description and kind of just skip around and hear the things you want to hear, versus just listening to me ramble for 20-30 minutes. So when looking at these machines, is price a factor? In a nutshell, I'd say no. Both these machines are going to run you about $2,500. I'll add carts from each website here. And I tried to balance them evenly with the max amount of accessories, so I would say these are both fully loaded machines with the probe and the dust boot and all that stuff. So the Onefinity does not offer a router. So you have to buy your own Makita router, which is $80 to $100. The x-carve $2,500 bundle does come with the DeWalt spindle. Onefinity also does not include a wasteboard. The wasteboard is included with the Onefinity. So give or take $100 each way, and they're still roughly around $2,500 to $2,600 fully loaded, shipped to your door. So expanding more on the wasteboard situation, the Onefinity does not come with a wasteboard, so you are 100% responsible for making your own wasteboard in any way you want. You could go with the TrueWerk route, which will cost you $60 to $80, or you can just do the basic threaded insert route, which will cost you about $30, including MDF. The x-carve does come with the wasteboard. It has a nice grid pattern on it, but to replace that wasteboard, it's about $100. So personally, I would put a 1/4 inch piece of MDF down instead of cutting into it, and that would be like my sacrificial piece. Versus the Onefinity, I really don't have to worry about it, but I'm sure you could rig up something similar on the x-carve. So now on to overall sizing of the machine. The overall footprint of the Onefinity is 45 by 45. If you include the controller on the side, it's 45 by 52. The overall cut area is just over 32 inches squared. And then going over to the 1000mm x-carve, the overall footprint is about 40 by 50, and then the overall cut area is about 29 inches. So you're getting a little bit more cut area with the Onefinity. And now on to like structural integrity of the machines, or like how they're kind of composed. The Onefinity consists of ball screws and ball bearings to kind of maneuver around the machine, and the x-carve consists of V-wheels, aluminum rails, and belts to operate the machine. The Onefinity has a huge edge here because just maintenance and everything with the V-wheels and belts is just kind of a pain, and you got to constantly keep up with it, versus the Onefinity, you kind of set it and forget it. Eventually you're probably going to have to replace the bearings or something like that, but that's a quick, easy fix, and it probably wouldn't cost you very much or take very long to do. I've heard of a lot of people having issues with wheels and belts on the x-carve. I personally haven't had that issue with them breaking, but you still have to constantly maintain them and keep them all tightened to the proper tensions. Otherwise you'll notice it if you let it get out of hand.
So taking a closer look, you can see just lightly pushing on these, they actually have a lot of flex, versus the Onefinity has much thicker heavy-duty rails, and I'm pushing way harder on these than I was with the x-carve.
Another thing to point out is limit switches. The x-carve actually has physical limit switches, so it's essentially a button that it pushes to know where it's at when it goes all the way or when it homes, versus the Onefinity, all that is built in. There's no actual physical switches. Those are built into the machine. Another frequently asked question I get is, what accessories should you buy with your CNC? I don't really care which one you buy, even if it's not one of these. The top 2 things I recommend is a dust boot. Huge. Definitely get a dust boot. Contains the dust, keeps your shop a lot cleaner, especially if you're cutting like MDF, that stuff is awful. So for sure get a dust boot. And 2, a probe. I don't believe the x-carve comes with a 3-axis probe, but it does come with the Z probe, which is super nice, especially when you're starting out and just learning. The Onefinity does come with the 3-axis probe. It doesn't come with it, it's an extra feature, but that would be included in the $2,500 I showed you earlier. I personally don't use one just because I've been doing this a little while and I don't do anything crazy advanced. I don't do any 3D carves. I just simply touch it on the surface, and that is good enough for me. It just saves me a little bit of time, and that is the only reason I don't use a probe.
So another cool thing to point out is this controller. This was part of the $2,500 bundle for the Onefinity, but this makes moving the machine around so much easier. You can also use the little display on the bottom left that comes with the machine, but using the controller is a game changer. As you'll see in the next clip, I'll show you how to move around the x-carve. Another downfall of the x-carve is you have to have it plugged in when using easel. I've bumped this before mid-carve and it stopped the carve, which can be super frustrating. And you have to go in here and use this little display and click these small buttons. It does the job, but it just kind of gets frustrating and old after a while. And here's a close-up view of the software. You cannot move the Onefinity with these, you have to use the post-processor.
So you finally got the machine you wanted. You get the boxes, and how long does this thing take to put together? What goes into getting this thing up and running? So we'll start with the x-carve because that's the first machine I got. When I got the x-carve, I knew nothing about CNCs. It came with a bunch of little baggies and hundreds of little pieces, and it probably took me 12 plus hours to put it together. I thought the instructions were okay. I messed up a few things, so I had to backtrack a few hours and kind of put things back together because I put a plate on backwards or something. So with the x-carve, plan on spending a full weekend putting that thing together. Just assume 12 to 15 hours to assemble it. Especially if you don't know anything about CNCs. You could also look at this from another perspective. Putting that thing together taught me so much about the CNC and all the little parts and kind of just how it worked a little better. So if you're into that experience, maybe you want to put the machine together. But for most people, they probably don't want to deal with it. They just want to set it up and get that thing running. So onto the Onefinity. I knew a little bit about CNCs at this point, but we put the machine together and had everything set up in probably 20 minutes. And then by the time you get the wasteboard and all that set up, say it takes you probably an hour to get the Onefinity up and running to do something simple. Just there, the Onefinity has a huge edge if you're not looking to put a machine together and deal with all that. Just assume an hour if you don't know anything about CNCs. It's literally like 12 bolts and it's pretty much up and running. So now that you have your machine set up, what software comes with your machines? So the Inventables easel is the x-carve software. It comes with the machine. It's free. They do have a subscription. I pay for this subscription. Otherwise, you can't use the V-bits and whatnot. But overall, I really like that software. It's super easy to use with the x-carve. You do your carves, you pretty much push play, and it goes. The Onefinity, on the other hand, comes with no software. It has a post-processor, which you take the code, upload it to the processor, and then push play. After a few times, it's quite easy and mindless. It's like 4 more clicks than running the easel on the x-carve. I personally run easel to run my Onefinity. You simply go to a drop-down, export code, and then you import it into the post-processor. Another advantage of this is you don't need Wi-Fi. I personally have Wi-Fi in my shop, so it's not that big a deal to me. But for some people, it could be a huge issue if you don't have Wi-Fi in their garage. So I run easel on the Onefinity, and I run easel on the x-carve. You do not need Wi-Fi for the Onefinity. If you're running easel on the x-carve, you must have Wi-Fi. And then another software you could use is Vectric vCarve Pro or Vectric Aspire software. Both these softwares are very expensive, but they're a professional grade software that are amazing. Unfortunately, it doesn't run on Mac. You can run it through Parallels and other stuff like that, but overall it doesn't run on Mac. It only runs on Windows. So I actually bought a cheap laptop to run Vectric vCarve Pro. I'm currently learning that. I'm still not proficient in it, but overall it seems like a great software and another option you can look into. All right, now that we got through that, let's do some cutting. We're gonna start out with a stress test, and then we're gonna cut 2 trays side by side to see which machine cuts it faster or more accurately. For the stress test, we're gonna use white ash, which is a nice dense wood, and we're gonna cut out a cavity with this large surface area, 3/4 inch dish bit. So if you listen closely, you can actually hear the machine starting to work really hard. I don't know the technical term, but I call it chatter. The machine's actually, as it's trying to cut, there's so much flexion in the rails that it's actually skipping along. In order to combat this, you either need to lower the depth of cut or slow down your speed until you get a nice smooth cut. And in this next clip, I made some adjustments. It's actually cutting faster, and I just raised the depth of cut. And with the Onefinity, I only actually ran 1 test just because I knew how fast it could cut, so I just pushed it a little bit further than I normally would just to kind of see how it would react. And it reacted just fine, and it was already way faster than the x-carve, so I just kind of left it at that. So you can hear me kind of adjusting the dial. That's why it kind of sounds weird, but it would be a lot cleaner cut if I didn't have to mess with it. The issue I have with the Makita router is the RPM dial always floats. After using it for about a month, it just floats and moves. You can actually hear it in this next clip. of me trying to adjust it while it's moving. It just started happening, so eventually I caved in and just put tape over it, but that's why it kind of sounds weird. Not really Onefinity's fault. I'm assuming the reason they went with the Makita router is because it has a wider RPM range than the DeWalt 611 router. You can get a different water-cooled spindle that's, I think it's a couple $100 though, so as of now they only offer the router mount for the Makita, which I'm 98% sure they're actually working on new mounts for different routers and bigger routers if that's what you're into.
Onto the catch-all tray rays. So I'm cutting two identical files here. These are both out of the same exact piece of white ash. I'm cutting down 0.40, and then the trays are 0.81 thick.
As you can see, the Onefinity cut its tray way faster than the x-carve. The x-carve cut its tray in 9 minutes and 52 seconds, and the Onefinity cut its tray in 3 minutes and 34 seconds. I actually don't run the Onefinity quite that fast when I'm cutting stuff myself. I actually dial it back about 20 inches per minute. Just because you can cut super fast doesn't mean you have to. I prefer a better cut than saving 30-40 seconds on a carve. If you guys are interested, I can go on a full video on the Onefinity on how fast you can actually run it and the feeds and speeds I run it at. So if you're interested, let me know that down in the comments. But for now, let's look at these trays. So I know I'm going to get asked how I hold this stuff down. I just use Titebond CA glue. The viscosity doesn't really matter. And then I just use regular Scotch masking tape. I'll add the links to this stuff down below. So now to pry this thing off. So you can just see all the chatter from it chopping around. You can see here also all the chatter left behind on this. But overall the tray looks pretty good. Some light sanding and you won't see any of that. It cut down, it left a little bit on here. I don't know if you can pick this up, but yes, there's a little bit of chatter on the Onefinity bowl too, but I was also running this a lot harder. So people were also asking me about accuracy. I couldn't think of a good way to actually test the accuracy without doing any sort of like crazy 3D carve or some repeatable task. Just with the structural integrity of the Onefinity, it's going to be more accurate than the x-carve. The x-carve has the belts and wheels, and if you don't adjust them for a while and you run it a lot, you're going to lose accuracy no matter what. And the Onefinity doesn't have them issues. So from an accuracy standpoint, I would give it to the Onefinity just because I don't have a great way to test it.
Now I'll quickly run through finishing these trays, just using a 1/2 inch roundover bit on the bottom here. Then I'll quickly sand them. I sand each tray for less than 2 minutes. It doesn't really take much. And then pretty much anything I take off the CNC, I use this furniture finish from Wallace Oil. The stuff works great and it's just, you simply rub it on and that's about it. This stuff is also food safe once dry, so I mean that's always a plus.
So as you can see in the end, these two trays look essentially exactly the same. The average person would never be able to tell the difference between these two trays and which machine cut it after they were cut. The Onefinity can cut over twice as fast as the x-carve. Personally, if I was gonna drop $2,500, I would go with the Onefinity just because the setup time's way easier, it cuts faster, there's less maintenance, and the list goes on. But the x-carve, it will definitely hold its own. There's nothing wrong with the x-carve. I just feel it's a little lacking, and they haven't made any improvements to the smaller machine. They did come up with a new x-carve Pro, but that thing's like $5,000 plus. So from a hobbyist standpoint, I just think the x-carve is lacking. It will definitely get the job done. I've had it for about 3-4 years, and I've made tens of thousands of dollars literally with that machine. It's paid for itself over and over again. Just in the last 8 months I've owned the Onefinity, I've made probably upwards of over $8,000 just selling catch-all trays. So from a money standpoint, they're gonna hold their own. I mean, you're gonna save a few minutes running the Onefinity over the x-carve, but overall, it's completely up to you. So I'm actually gonna end up selling this x-carve within the next month. I may do one more video just on speeds and feeds because people are asking. So if you want any specific Onefinity videos, comment them down below. Make sure you check us out on Instagram. Subscribe, like this video if you liked it. I appreciate you all watching the video. I hope you all have a wonderful day.